Okay, so for our IADL project, we're focusing on home management. We were given a case study. She is a 51-year-old female with MS. She was diagnosed 18 years ago. She also has a history of hypertension and she's had several recent falls. In the case study book, they mentioned that she did a brief self-report, which shows she has difficulty with her cognition with these following things: planning and organization, task monitoring, and initiation and working memory. She's independent in ADLs and IADLs. However, she's not managing them very well. So her ex-husband is in her life and helps her out around the house, but he's noticed many times now that she is not performing her ADLs and IADLs efficiently, and he has brought that concern in. So an example of this is he reports incomplete tasks such as putting the potatoes on the stove in the water but forgetting to turn the water on, or he will see her vacuum still in the living room without having the task being completed. She also becomes fatigued after 15 minutes during a task, and the laundry is downstairs. So this can sometimes take her all day to complete, as walking stairs is not easy for her.
So then a little bit about the diagnosis. So the client has multiple sclerosis, also known as MS, which is a neurocognitive and immunological disease. It affects the client's motor, cognitive, psychological, visual, sensory, or bowel and bladder systems. Some common symptoms associated with MS are diplopia, urinary incontinence, muscle weakness, fatigue, gross and fine motor incoordination, and also cognitive issues. Some sensory problems that can come along with MS are numbness, pain, and also issues with proprioception. Those with MS most commonly complain of the symptom of fatigue. Additional deficits that can include with MS are short-term memory, attention, processing speed, and then executive function. And then some recommendations for symptom management for MS are having a healthy diet, an adequate amount of sleep per night, and also starting low impact exercise, and then slowly increasing the duration and frequency of that exercise to therefore reduce fatigue. And then the occupation is home management, which I'll just cover quickly, which is obtaining and maintaining personal and household possessions and environments like the home, garden, vehicles, and then including maintaining and repairing personal possessions like someone's clothing or household items, and knowing how to seek help or who to contact for help.
And then the frame of reference that we chose to use is the cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT combines behaviors, thoughts, emotions, physical responses in the physical and social environment. One of the things that we focused on was the evidence behind activity scheduling and CBT. Activity scheduling can assist the client to engage in desired occupations. The activity scheduling can work on some of those cognition tasks that a client could be struggling with, like planning and organization, task monitoring, and initiation and working memory. The activity scheduling can also assist with fatigue management, with allowing herself time to do activities with rest in between. And then in the next slide, you'll see a demonstration of our intervention plan, which is a modified story memory technique. With CBT, this will be helping a client to tie in their cognition with home management tasks that they want to engage in. And we had computer difficulties, so we're gonna have to switch the screen.
Hi, Lexie. How are you doing today? I'm good. How are you? Pretty good. So this is our 9th session together. And just as a little review, the past 8 sessions, we focused on imagery and context separately. And then today we're going to be combining these two into your everyday life. And I know we've been working on occupation, home maintenance, as something to work on. So today we're going to be using this for things that you do in your everyday life. And I have these 4 words for you related to home maintenance: vacuum, laundry, grocery shopping, and gardening. And I want you to make up a story using this provided list of words. And also make sure that is easy to visualize, like we worked on with the imagery components in the first couple sessions together. So when you're ready, you can take these 4 words and write a story for me and make sure that it's easy to visualize. Okay. Sounds good. It's my story. Hey, would you like to read it out loud to me? Yes. When I was vacuuming, there was a thick layer of dust on the carpets. In the corner of the room, I found a dirty t-shirt that reminded me I need to do laundry. There was a shriveled apple on the table, which is my favorite food from the last time that I went grocery shopping. I've always wanted to plant an apple tree in my garden that is very full of beautiful flowers, like the ones in the vase on my table. Very nice. So just to work a little more on the visualization concept, what I would like to do now is have you close your eyes and try and create a mental image of the story that you just did, and I'll read it out loud to you. Okay, so when I was vacuuming, there was a thick layer of dust on the carpets. In the corner of the room, I found a dirty t-shirt that reminded me I need to do laundry. There was a shriveled apple on the table, which is my favorite food from the last time I went grocery shopping. I have always wanted to plant an apple tree in my garden that is very full of beautiful flowers like the ones I have in the vase on my table. You can open your eyes when you're ready. So that was a very nice story that combined the 4 words that I gave you related to home maintenance. So instead of remembering that you have these 4 things to do throughout the day, example, like in a list, you now have the one image. So when you think of this image or story, it calls to mind the different things that you must do throughout your day. And I think that this could be a helpful technique to get those things done throughout the day that you need to related to your home. Awesome. So that wraps up our time together. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so after our video that used the MSMT approach, the evidence related to this intervention had MS clients, and these clients typically have impairments in learning and memory, which then negatively affects their everyday life and occupations. So again, MSMT stands for Modified Story Memory Technique as the intervention. It has been found in other studies to demonstrate objective behavior, brain functioning, and everyday life. So in this study, 30 participants had progressive MS.
They also had no previous exposure to MSMT, and they were randomly assigned to either a placebo or treatment group. And then participants who were in the treatment group were then exposed to MSMT training twice a week for 5 weeks, equaling in 10 sessions. And the results were that the participants in the treatment group showed significant improvements in learning when compared to the placebo group. And participants had increased awareness of cognitive deficits. So what they said in their discussion is that MSMT intervention of context and imagery then strengthened encoding, which resulted in improved retention.
And then just some clinical reasoning questions. The first one is, what is the OT's role in addressing home management? Second one is, how would you respond to a client who believes they are independent in IADLs, but someone who is close to them reports that they have troubles completing their IADL tasks? So this is just based off of our client that we were given, like her ex-husband addressing these concerns. And the third one is, how does poor home management affect a client's ability to engage in other occupations? And our references.